As we continue to unravel the tapestry of Jamaica's real estate industry, in today's conversation we have Roger Allen, who is not only a licensed broker, but also a board member of the Realtors Association of Jamaica. Roger, how are you?
Very good.
Excellent. And share with us. Let's start here. What is the role of the Realtors Association of Jamaica?
The role of the Realtors Association of Jamaica, let me start out with our motto. We are the voice for real estate in Jamaica. And we are voice via having a solid membership, a solid association that represents the interests of the more than just the members, but the built environment, the real estate sector. So we do ensure that where our members are concerned, we are primarily concerned about the growth and development of our members.
Yes.
You see, you want to practice real estate in Jamaica, you need a license, so you go through the real estate board. We take it a couple of levels above and beyond that.
Yes.
We have continuing professional development where a member can wear any pin, and one of those pins will say CIPS, and you say, what does CIPS mean? And I'll be only too happy to say to you, Certified International Property Specialist.
Wow.
Or we have another one, RSPS, Resort and Second Property Specialist, which is very popular in Jamaica today. Persons, in some of the urban cities, they're having second and third properties elsewhere around the island, which is the in thing now with a real estate boom. But importantly, we have a partnership with the National Association of Realtors. We are there.
That's a US-based.
US-based with approximately 1.6 million members.
Wow.
There, where we have over 1,400 thereabout members here locally. But we are proud to say that we have committees such as education, membership, professional standards, so members can look at, their professional development. We look at courses, seminars. We also look at having a forum for members, as we did most recently, where they can, not just hear the concerns, but we can also look at having, providing support for them in terms of refreshers in certain things, but also, just evolving in terms of practicing your craft.
And how they practice the craft. Is it an easy industry to get into? How could I become a realtor associate, or a real estate broker?
It is straightforward. I wouldn't say easy. It's straightforward. So you're interested, you get in touch with the real estate board. Over time we've encouraged, and you can right now go on the real estate board website. I think I'm proud to say I can off the top of my head say reb.gov.jm. There you go. And you go there to the homepage or landing page, and you search it, and it says, want to do a salesman course. You have the options of doing part-time, full-time, that sort of thing.
It's becoming very popular for persons to be licensed, and it's not their full-time job.
I wouldn't say becoming popular. It is already popular for persons to, venture into real estate. One of the things most of us will say to such persons, real estate is not part-time. You have poker, anti-money laundering, just the professional requirements to list a property, to identify or otherwise identify a property for clients. It takes a bit out of you, and this is a professional industry. And we have had to fight for what we do to be not just properly regulated, but for it to be professional.
Yes.
And where we see now, I think one of the testament to the Realtors Association is the number of overseas franchises that are in Jamaica.
Yes.
Because if you look, they would not be here if there was not certain prerequisites.
So the industry has matured over the
years.
It
has matured, it has evolved. We have provided support for our regulators who have oversight the real estate board. I will share that even one of our past presidents, who I had the honor of serving with as his vice president, He's the current chairman of the Real Estate Board Strata Commissions, which has oversight for us. And we are proud to say, importantly, that 96% of the persons licensed to practice real estate in Jamaica, 96 to 97% of them with a license are members
That's
of our
incredible.
association.
That is incredible. How do I get a property listed, and how do realtors compare properties that have been listed?
But basically, the Realtors Association for the members is about co-broking. So how the MLS works is one listing agent, but multiple sellers. So I have listed the property, and that listing comes up on all the members' websites.
Oh.
So persons who are looking for, let us say it's a 4-bedroom house in one of the affluent corporate area communities, it is there. So it maximizes two important components. One, exposure of the property.
Yes.
One. And also there's always the price variables, because it's two things that really move real estate. One, exposure. You need awareness of the property. And two, the right price.
Yes.
And there are a number of variables that revolve around that.
Previously, you mentioned the strata, and that's something that we hear a lot, especially with new developments, complexes, gated communities. What's the importance of the strata? Is it really a plus, or is it a little restricting?
We have the regulatory oversight body. People focus on the Real Estate Board, but the name is the Real Estate Board and Strata Commissions. Very important. Where you have a development of six or more units, that sort of thing, and it's supposed to be a strata that is very functional. I have said, and other realtors have said to their clients, it's not that it's the world's best designed gated community by the world's renowned or foremost architect and all, but what is very important for the medium term and long term sustainability or the longevity of that development, good strata management, effective strata management.
And the strata management includes?
It includes members, owners there. You would have a structure concerning everybody being a part of the strata, but in terms of the executive, they tend to have a blend of persons, one involved in property management, some persons with legal skills, some person with an accounting background. And yes, it will comprise, the executive will obviously comprise owners, part of that development.
I can't wait to get into some of the challenges faced by the Realtors Association of Jamaica, as well as the general real estate industry. We'll get into that conversation with Roger right after this break. We're back with Roger Allen from the Realtors Association of Jamaica, and we're just talking about strata management. What happens if I don't keep up with my maintenance fees?
Well, the key with any good development is that from the onset, in terms of the strata, the covenants, the bylaws, that sort of thing, that you ensure that the interests of the strata is protected, but also the rights of the individual.
Yes.
So you cannot have 50 units, for argument's sake, there, and 30 or 40 of the owners are paying, but you have 10 defunct or delinquent members, right?
So let's get into the challenges. What would you say are the main challenges facing the industry at the moment, and what's some of the things being done to address those?
One of the things we are still fighting and leveraging for the transaction time. Mm-hmm. Especially where you're going the route of financing, mortgage financing. What we're finding is that a few years ago, and I'm talking pre-COVID, we used to say, boy, it's bad, it's 3 to 4 months. But with the explosion on the Jamaica landscape in terms of real estate, what we're finding out now, where it's 3 to 4 months, it is 6 months.
Wow.
It is 6 months. And even cash transactions, and I'm talking clean and clear titles. You mean there's no encumbrances,
No
there are no liens,
breaches.
no caveats. It's clean and clear. The person doesn't owe any outstanding mortgages or property taxes or anything. The purchaser is a cash buy. And you're finding out that that transaction at time is averaging a cash transaction, 3 months. So one of the things we do, we are the voice for real estate. We're saying to the government, to the stakeholders, is it that you're under resourced, for example, at the National Land Agency, at the stamp office, at the titles office?
Right.
What do we need to do? We engage the financial institutions, from the larger ones to the smaller ones, the credit union based ones, and say, hey, listen, let's not maintain a name, or let's not have a name associated with bureaucracy and just dragging out unnecessary transaction time, because it's one of the drawbacks, the negative indices to practicing real estate in Jamaica. Also, the whole oversight for
Yes.
persons who have been granted approval to do a development. One of the things that we don't want to see is that ABC developments which run afoul of the law in terms of certain breaches, the whole issue of how many one-bedroom apartments versus studio, vice versa, versus two-bedroom,
Yes.
and all of that sort of thing. And they run afoul. And then that same company, you're saying, but they're doing another development elsewhere, and we know that they've been granted approval for that development. So one of the things we're looking at is how the regulators and others can protect the industry and the integrity thereof.
Yes.
By enforcing the necessary regulation. One of the things that we have been stigmatized in terms of the industry is the whole thing with cash, anti-money laundering. We have to explain to persons that realtors don't collect cash. What we do, we bring the buyers and sellers together, and we also walk through in terms of, we monitor even at the stage where it's the attorneys that are dealing with the transmission phase of the transaction, the paperwork and all, we monitor, that the valuation, the survey and all these things are done on a timely basis.
So ensuring a seamless process
As best as
for that
possible,
transaction.
and trying to be a miracle worker in terms of the long time that it takes for a transaction to occur, some of these things. One of the things that we're on to know, you're building a new hotel. The tourism minister said sometime September, October, Charisma, which is a $1 billion investment, which is going to be a mile or so, half a mile or so from Chucker Cove, Richmond Prairie, heading westward, before you get to Salem, Runaway Bay. So if you already have a traffic issue with the road, what's
going to happen?
It's going to exacerbate the matter, yes. And also there's housing. This is another thing.
I was about to get into housing because average Jamaicans feel as though they can't afford housing here. And there's a lot of foreign direct investment in real estate. How do we address a problem like that?
Well, the pluses come with the minus, and addressing a problem like that, I would say the government as in who the people have elected to represent their interests, to govern the affairs of the country, they need to say, we can make recommendations. It is well known that there is a property available, choice property, wherever it is in Jamaica. Guess what? It's all about entrepreneurship. I am going to say, how can I maximize my earning potential by developing that property? I may not be predisposed to be thinking about the civil servants, but here you have the government. The government has to say, no, listen, a lot has been happening on the North Coast. We have more schools. We're building this, expanding this hospital. Okay, where are you going to put the nurses? Let me take it a step further with Brownstone, where my former school colleague is the principal there. You have York Castle, St. Hilda's, Brownstone High, Brownstone Community College, Survive Prep, Primary, other schools. You have Westwood, which is 12, 15 minutes away. Where are the teachers going to reside?
Yes.
They cannot afford the premium housing or the villas on the right along the coastal corridor. So what are we going to do for them? So in terms of spatial planning and development, we have to look at these things. We have to be the unpopular person to say that everybody needs a piece of the pie.
Such a thought-provoking conversation. Thank you for joining us for today's property tour and this conversation with Roger. See you next on The Listing. I'm Angel Alicia.